Hi guys, here's another video. I've got this Bosch SRC161 radio stereo cassette. As you can see, it's been neglected. It's covered in paint spots and dust. It's been sitting somewhere for a while. So I'm going to be having a look at that today. Just give you a look at what it looks like at the moment. That's the back section. So what I'm going to do is dismantle the unit. There's 6 screws on the back which hold it in place, and one of them's underneath this battery cover which I'm removing here. So I'm just going to undo the screws, and I'm going to speed this section up, as I will speed quite a few sections up just to make the video as short as I can. And once the screws are removed, it's just a matter of prying the front cover away from the back cover, as you can see here. Just lift this section over the keys and you can see all the PCB and the mechanisms inside. So I'm going to remove the speakers from this front cover. There's 4 screws which hold the speaker in place, and then the brackets which also retain. And then also these speakers are glued in, so here you can see me just using a knife to try and prise them out. And that's just the one side removed there. Just going to undo the other side. And as you can see, that one just popped out. So just going to remove all these cables from the cable tidy so I can separate the front section. And then it's just the LED for the stereo at the top here. Just going to do that, get that out of the way. So that's the front section clear. As you can see there, just put that to one side because I'm going to give these sections a clean. Okay, so what I've got to do is remove the rest of the items inside. So I'm just undoing the power supply here and the power socket, and there's just 3 screws here for the cassette mechanism, which I'm undoing here. Just pop the screws over here, and that's the cassette mechanism 3. So what I've got to do is undo the main PCB at the back there, and there's just 6 screws holding that in place. You can see me undoing them. So the mechanisms, the PCB is practically free now. Just got to remove some of the cable tidies, and you can see me just removing the antenna wire. Okay, let me just show you this section here. The only thing holding it now is the battery terminals, the plus and the minus there, red and black wires. So I'm gonna have to, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut them off in a minute, and when I reassemble, I'm just gonna solder them back on. So that's the couplings of the inside 3. Just put that to one side because what I'm gonna do is wash the covers. So you can see me just using a bit of fairy liquid in a bucket. Just pop that in there, and all the covers. Unfortunately, the bucket wasn't big enough, so I put them all into this tub here, so I can give them all a good wash. You can see me just scrubbing with a paintbrush, and then, like I said, I've only used fairy liquid and water just to clean them, and there's nothing left in there, so I'll just get rid of the water. And here's the panel which I've cleaned, and they're covered in soap, as you can see, so I'm just going to give them a rinse off. And I'm just going to leave them to dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to have a look at the inner workings. As you can see, I'm just using a soft brush attachment with a hoover just to get rid of any dust that's in there. Just brush the whole unit here. Got a lot of build up on the speakers. Okay, now that that's done, I'm just going to connect the power supply. And I'm just going to use this, once I've took the speakers off here, all the power supplies under this cup so I don't get electrocuted. And if I just plug the units in, and I'm just going to test the radio first and foremost, see what I can get from that. And it has come on. Just find a decent channel. That's the tuner adjuster there, which I've highlighted. And the only problem is the volume control is a little bit crackly. You can hear there, that's the volume control. I'm moving there. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Okay, so what I've done, I can get a signal from FM and medium wave, so I think the radio's working fine. So now I'm going to turn my attention to the cassette mechanism. More than likely there's an issue with the belts on these. The belts are there, they're usually melted away, but they are there. And I think a couple of the pulleys have fallen apart. So I'm going to have a look at that. More than likely that's what the problem was. This pulley controls the forward and rewind, as well as the play. Take up reels, but it's come away. Goes on here like so. And the belt, which is still there, fits around it. But the belts are slack. Let me just zoom in and show you. As you see, as I'm moving it there, the belts are slack, so they'll have to be replaced. So if I just pop this cassette in to try it, I pop the belt back on. If you press, first thing I'm going to press is the rewind button. And you can see the wheels are not turning on the cassette. The rails aren't turning at all. The motor's operating, but the reels aren't turning. I think there's a problem with this pulley. It's not engaging with its the shaft, and that's why the reels aren't turning. So obviously, if I press play, the wheel's not turning. As you can see, the tape's starting to spill out. So that's something I have to have a look at. Getting these take-up wheels to spin. You can see all the tape spilled out. I'll just wind it back in, obviously manually. I'm just winding the cassette tape back in there. Look. Just do this bit a bit lively. Okay, that's wound back on. So what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, the wheels aren't spinning at all, the take-up wheel. And you press play. Yet the pulley's spinning at the back, as you can see there. All of them are turning, but there's a small issue with the small pulley there. So I'm going to have to sort this little pulley out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is replace the belts. I'm going to pop the motor off to do this one. You can replace the belt with this motor in place. I'm going to take it off. And it's just two wires holding the, two screws, sorry, holding the motor mechanism in place. You can see the belts are attached. But what I'm going to do is replace these two belts, because they, like I said, they only last a certain years, and then they either melt or just stretch. Okay, I've got the two belts off, the two drive belts, and I've got a selection of belts here. It's just a matter of finding the right size. That one looks adequate. And just see if we can find a belt for the other side, which is that one there. Okay, so I'm just going to fit the new belts on here. Fit onto the capstan, the big wheel there. One belt fits on the underside and one fits on the top. So you can see me just putting the belt around the top capstan pulley, fitting it around the motor, the drive motor. And then I'm just going to put the motor back in place. A little bit fiddly. And now that sits in place, I'm just going to put the retaining screws back in. Just screw them back in. And you can see I've got a magnetic screwdriver which holds the screws, so I can put the other screw back in. Okay, so that's the motor reassembled with the belt on the top. I'm going to have to have a look at this pulley here. So what I'm going to do is fit the new belt, which attaches to the underside of the capstan. There's a pulley on the underside as well, and I've just fitted that, and that seems to be spinning fine. But the pulley's loose, as you can see there. It's come away from its housing, its shaft, sorry. So what I'm going to do is put a bit of super glue around that and just jig it around a bit so the super glue circulates, and just leave that to super glue to go off. Okay, I've left it to cure and it seems to be engaging this time. So what I'm going to do at this section, what I'm going to do, if I press play, you can see the belts and the pulleys spinning at the same time. See on the back side, and this is forwards. It seems to be working fine also. And rewind, that also seems to be working fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just pop a cassette in and give it a test. Okay, so if I just press play, as you can see, we've got sound now. Just got to sort this crackly volume out. And the tape's not spilling out, as you can see here. So the play's working fine. Let me just stop that. Turn the tape over. Try the other side, side B. Just press play. Yep, that seems to be working fine. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. So you can see all the mechanisms turning on the back there. So the pulley is secured now. That was causing a problem before. So if I just stop that and let me just try forwards, fast forwards, fine, and rewind. Yeah, you can see the take-up wheels are spinning there. So that's working fine. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. So I'm going to move on to just doing a bit of maintenance. Just put a bit of grease around these metal parts, around the push buttons and around the push mechanism. And then I'm just going to, this volume track is crackling, so I'm just going to give that a clean also with some platinum cleaner. And plug that in and give it a try. It's a little bit crackly, but probably just wants moving back and forwards a bit. It's a bit better now. It's not as crackly as before. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'll pop the power supply off, and I'm just going to push the record head down and give the heads a clean with this platinum cleaner here. It's a non-harsh cleaner. And just got to dry them off with a bit of tissue. So I'm happy with that. Cassette sorted. So all I've got to do is put the unit back together. Just show you the parts that I've cleaned here. So I've got a nice clean, all the paint's gone, and obviously all the dirt's gone also, all the splashes of paint. And I've cleaned the speakers also with some WD. And it's all looking good. So just gonna just remove this power cable. And I'm just going to do this part by time lapse because this video is already nearly 15 minutes long already. So I'm just going to speedily put the unit back together. You saw how I dismantled it. And if you remember, I cut these wires off early for the battery power. I'm just soldering them back on. Okay, so that's sorted. And I'm just finishing putting it back together here. The speakers in the front panel. And that's the unit complete. Let me just show you what it looks like so far before final assembly. I've got it all nice and clean and everything seems to be working. So it's just a matter of putting the unit back together, putting the front cover on, because I've got all the wires in with the cable tidy. So it's just a matter of fitting the front cover back over the buttons, the play buttons, and then I'm just going to make sure that the tuning knob slots into its recess. I'll just close this cassette door, and let me just show you here, just check its tuning's working. The indicator, as you can see there, is connected. Okay, so it's just a matter of, as you can see, I've put some batteries in the back to test it with batteries, but I've got to get this middle one out because there's 6 screws in the back, and one of them goes through here. So I'll just put this middle screw back in, squeeze that up, and just pop that battery back in. Pop the cover back on. All I've got to do now is just tighten the other 5 screws which hold the covers together. I'll do that lively. You can see there. Okay, so that's pretty much complete. Let's give you a close-up what it looks like. It looks nice and clean now, all the paint's gone, as you can see here. And this is what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. As you can see, all the dirt and the paint spots have gone. Okay, so let's give it a try. It's a radio. Medium wave. Working fine. Pop it back over to FM. Let's tune it here.
Him so we can reconsider his reputation.
Tuner's working fine.
Right?
Yes, when I started.
Let's find a channel with no music so I don't get copyrighted.
The best jazz artist I have seen live would be Christian Scott is up there.
Let me just show you here.
Mainly because of
Let's pop the tape on. Let me just eject it first. See, it ejects nice and slow, just how I like it. And then if I just press play, and I will have to talk over this for copyright reasons, but as you can see, it's playing, and then you see the crackling from the volume knob as control has gone now. It seems to be working fine. So just stop that and eject it, and I'll turn the tape around and play side B. Oh, sorry, I'll forwards first. I don't know if you can see it, and then rewind. That's working fine also. So I'll just press play, and as you can hear there, it's working fine. And like I said, I'm just going to talk all over this because of copyrights. But with that, thanks for watching once again. Please subscribe.